Hi there, welcome back to Dave's Desk. We're continuing with our building blocks theme. Today we're going to look at the story of prayer, and I think prayer is quite a big and important topic, so we're actually going to have two talks about prayer. And the first one, we're going to look at prayer as it was in the Old Testament. So that's the bit of the Bible before Jesus was born. And prayer in the Old Testament could be a really ritualized thing. It was often done at the temple, which was a big building in which the presence of God dwelt, but which most people couldn't really access. And so you would go into the temple, depending on whether you were born Jewish or not, depending on whether you're a man or a woman or not, would affect how far into the temple you'd go. And often the reason you'd be there would be to have a sacrifice made. You'd have brought an animal, maybe a pigeon, if you were financially struggling, maybe a lamb if you were a bit off. If you were a noble person and had lots of money, maybe you'd bring a bull, and you'd bring this offering, and it would be killed, and its body sacrificed, offered to God, burnt on the altar. And that can seem quite gruesome to us, but it had a real important purpose, is that it reminded people that as they approached God, that there was a barrier between them, that sin and their failure and our failure to live up to God's standard meant that there was discord in our relationship with God. And therefore the gift of an animal, this gift of blood, reminded the people that there was a blood price to pay, a consequence of their sinfulness. I think it's really easy for us to think like my kids do. I've got four boys, the oldest is 7 and the youngest is 2. And they sometimes have a relationship with the word sorry, which is, I've said sorry, so now there will surely be no consequences to the thing that I was just doing and had to say sorry for. But of course, sorry doesn't mean there'll be no consequences. Sorry means that I recognise what I've done is wrong, and I don't want to do it again. And so in the Old Testament, prayer came with this blood price. And so the word sorry, it was clear where the consequences were. The pigeon or the lamb or the bull were paying the price for us. And I think it's good for us to remember that there is a blood price for our sin. And we'll talk more about how Jesus paid for that price, and more about how that changed the way our prayers sort of are expressed in later videos. But I hope that's given you something to think about, how we consider the consequences of our actions, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.